at the start of the week, the betting market is telling us, look, man, Mahomes isn't going. That's how it was lined. Leaned heavily in that direction. They make the Chiefs a 2.5-point dog. It did touch 3 at one point, and then all of a sudden, once the Chiefs started practicing, they're like, he's out there in full. Not, heavy-duty practices. They are super, super light, but Mahomes was never limited this week. He was out there in full. So we've got Mahomes playing in this Week 16 matchup against Houston, and Houston certainly dealing with their struggles. Right now it's 3.5. The Chiefs at Arrowhead laying 3.5. BetMGM has a total of 42. It's kind of all over the place. There are 41.5s out there. Also a number of 42.5s. So Houston, KC, we talked about the idea of the under early in this week, and that's when we didn't know Mahomes was going to be playing. Since then, it has ticked up a couple of points because Mahomes is in.
I am so sharp. I have under 40.5 in the game. I bet it during our show because I didn't think he was going to play. So that's not fun, holding 40.5 and the game's already 42.5 at one book. Not ideal. I like to beat the closing line, believe it or not be a 1.5 the wrong way. That said, I don't know what we get from Mahomes, and their offense hasn't exactly been all that good when he's been out there anyways. You're going to get that tick up once it's expected that he's going to play. But Kansas City's defense is still the star of the show, and Houston's defense is really good. So I'm expecting a loss. I'm expecting it to land 24-17. I will lose by a half point. I still like the under at 42. I'm not going to double down, though. I don't love it. Remember, that total did get as low as, I think, 38.5. I'm checking the odds logic screen now. 39 was the floor. So I thought, 40.5 was a decent bet. Not yet. It could be, though. And, of course, Houston at one point was about a 3-point favorite. And now Kansas City minus 3.5. So that's really the number. Mahomes is worth about 7. Which is what we talked about, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. That's how much he's worth. He's probably the most valuable in the league. Maybe Allen could be a smidge more valuable because his backup isn't as good. When you talk about how much is this guy worth, it's not only that player, it's the backup. And Carson Wentz is serviceable. Isn't Buffalo's backup Trubisky still, I think? So, I guess who's the better average quarterback? I would rather have Wentz than Trubisky. But that's the number, 7. From Houston minus 3 to now Kansas City minus 3.5, 4.
Yeah, but that's the move we had. But if he was declared out, it would have gone even more. So, what is he worth? It's probably more than a touchdown. I don't think you're in the bad spot because when we were talking through playing that total under early in the week, we laid out both scenarios. Okay, what if he isn't? What if he does play? Here's where the number goes. How do you feel about it? We still felt good. I still feel good about the underplay. I don't think you're in a bad spot. Obviously, you'd rather have the best number available, but you mentioned that Chiefs defense, and I've questioned the Texans. But let's not get it twisted. The reason the Texans are 9-5 on the year is because of the defense. It's not because of the offense. The sample size is here, 14 games in. It's time to give them credit. And when you look at the numbers, they're second in EPA per play on defense. They're second in success rate. The pass defense among the best. EPA per pass, they're number 2. And against the run, it's not like they're near the bottom. They're not even in the middle. They're still a top 7 run defense. The issue has been staying on time on offense. That's it. They fall behind because of their early downs. The early down success rate has been a problem all year in a bad way, and they lean so heavily on Mixon. It just has not worked out, and these defenses know that. And guess what? When you look at the Chiefs' run defense, it is one of the better units in the league. So even though Mahomes is in, I don't see either offense having an explosive day. So I still think you're good. I think you're good on that under, and I would play it. If I'm playing this game, I would play the under 42 and a hook and feel pretty strong about it.
All eyes on 2 players for Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Watt, George Pickens. Market says that at least one of them is out.
Well, Pickens is
And
out.
if they're both, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
And if they're both out, this is 7. So that's really what you're guessing right now at this point in time. If TJ Watt can go, this runs back to 6, maybe 5.5. TJ Watt is out, this goes to 7. That's where we're at this point in time on a Friday.
Yeah, so because that's a Saturday game, we got the final injury report on Thursday, and TJ Watt did get a full practice in yesterday. They did not give him an injury designation. Watt's in. That's them saying Watt is in for this, and they said Pickens with the hamstring is out. So, man, for me to get to the Steelers, I wanted both. And so now we're just kind of stuck. It got to 6 this week, and that's when we were unsure about both. But now we know Watt's in, Pickens out. We got one of them. We preferred Pickens, right? If you're going to get one of them, we preferred that it be Pickens. It's not going to be Pickens. So the deep ball is not going to be there. And so that's why I'm torn. That's why I'm torn. I'm sure they really wanted Pickens to go, but he's not going to be able to go. And they are now sitting at 6.5 total between 44.5 and 45. I mean, it's the Watt thing is big. We've known over the years, like when you look at the numbers, their defensive numbers, Watt in versus Watt out, very impactful. But this year, the way they've been playing it, what Russell Wilson has been able to do, same with Arthur Smith, they really need Pickens to be part of this offense. Did not have him last week. Certainly felt that. Same thing the week before. Damn, it's tough because every trend is screaming, guys, just take Pittsburgh. Every trend. If you look over the last couple of decades in the series, the underdog covers, especially when it's at least a field goal. Last 20 years, when the line is at least 3, the underdog in Steelers-Ravens is 23-4-3 against the spread.
Wow.
23-4-3. Just taking the underdog doesn't matter what the number is. Last 20 years, hits at 74%. 16 of their last 19 matchups have been decided by 7 or less, and the number's sitting here at 6.5.
Here's another trend for you. Not a big sample size, but Lamar Jackson as a starter. 0-5 ATS against Pittsburgh.
And we know Lamar doesn't cover big numbers. You want to bet on Lamar when they're a dog or it's a short number. It's kind of like the Mahomes thing. And now Lamar's laying a monster number. They're in a desperate spot, but you know what? Both teams are. Pittsburgh wants to shut them down. Let's wrap this division up. Let's get that 3 seed. Let's get a home game in the playoffs instead of going on the road in the first round. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are saying that you should maybe you should back the Steelers getting the points. Tomlin coming off a bad loss at Philly last week, too. Are you going to be betting this?
I lean Steelers. I'm in
Same.
that weird spot, though, where I'm starting to overthink it. Like, well, why is the line this high then? If it's always a tight game and the line is usually 3, why is it 6.5? And I'm doing that to myself. History tells us take the Steelers. I have not taken the Steelers yet, and in my 5 for the Chicago Media Contest, I did not put Pittsburgh in. I did put the Jets in, yay, and the Bears in. I did not put the Steelers in, but I can change that. I have until Saturday, Sunday to figure that out.
Rams-Jets. Rams-Jets number is 3. It's been sitting at a strong 3 just about all week. The Rams are a 3-point road favorite. Now, the Jets have looked better of late. I mean, just the drama doesn't stop. I find it amusing that it's now become ESPN personalities versus Aaron Rodgers because he has this platform on that network. He has friends on that network, on that one show, the Pat McAfee show, and then everybody else hates him. Sure, there's a lot of jealousy, hypocrisy, all that stuff going on. But anyways, Rodgers is playing the best ball that we've seen in a few years. Now, he's had some advantageous matchups. We're not saying the Rams defense is great, but certainly better than some of the teams he's faced in recent weeks, like Miami, like Jacksonville last week. And he was starting to use his legs. 3 touchdown passes last week. The Rams, extra rest for them, extra time to prepare. They're coming off that no touchdown game last Thursday, and I find it interesting. Late in the season, Sean McVay has a lot of success. Sam, this number is not budging. The total hasn't really moved either. Rams -3, total 46.5.
I took 3.5 with the Jets a couple days ago. I didn't love it, but I did it because I will stand on the top of the mountaintop and proclaim my beliefs that the Rams are the luckiest team in the NFL. I don't know how they've won 7 of 9. We give them credit for doing so. I'm willing to find out again. And you have a Jets team that apparently is scouting its future prospects with Madden ratings. Everything that comes out of New York is bad, but I still took those idiots at +3.5 because you have a Rams team that just keeps finding ways to not only win, but cover. And I'm betting on regression. The Ram regression. I hope they lose. Maybe Jets lose by 1, lose by 3. It felt really nice to take 3.5 and wake up on a Friday morning and see the game sitting 3.
As the Donkster would call him, Cooper Coop did not have a catch last week. So I'm really interested to see what Kupp does in this game. If they end up targeting him, the number is only 55.5. When's the last time you had a Cooper Kupp prop of 55.5 yards? That's an interesting number. And then they're going to have to deal with Puka as well. I don't have a strong take on the game. I get where you're coming from. Jets certainly looking better, and you're getting 3.5. But I'll be rooting for you. I'll be rooting for you. God, that's disgusting to even say because we've been laughing at this idea of the Sharps coming in all year and betting the Jets. And I know that's not where you're coming from. You're not one of these people that have been betting the Jets all year and losing. But, yeah, the Jets seem to be the side. We know where the public's going to be. They're going to be on that Rams side. And, Sean McVay, extra rest, the way they've been rolling 8-6 down the year, they need it more. The Jets season is over and they need it more. So the Rams, of course, they're going to win and cover, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Rodgers has looked really, really good of late. I know it's meaningless football, but it's also noteworthy. They still have 3 more games to play here at the end of the season. I do not have the play on the game. It's really had that connection with Devontae Adams of late. So watch out for that. Arizona, Carolina. Numbers in a weird spot. It's kind of no man's land. Sitting 4.5. The Cardinals are a road favorite. The total also interesting. Just hasn't settled. Even on a Friday morning. You can get over 46.5. You can get under 47.5 if you want to go that route. So the number's 4.5. The Panthers, they were getting support. They were getting some hype. They looked good for 5 weeks against true contenders, and then they looked awful against Dallas. Bryce Young, you want to talk about regression? 4 turnovers in that game. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles lost. Ends up taking 6 sacks in the game. And then you've got Arizona. They can run the ball. James Conner looked really good against a soft Pats defense. I don't really trust this Arizona defense. This is a tough one. My initial look is I'm just going to take the points with Carolina, but looks like Leggett, not sure he's going to be out there. He has not been practicing this week. Are we going to see a bounce back? That's the big question in this game. I mean, technically the Cardinals are still in the NFC West race, but kind of not really. But I don't know what I'm going to see out of Kyler Murray from week to week. And in this spot, he's going across the country to take on a Carolina team that's eliminated from everything.
I know a group that played over 46.5 and then bet it again at 47. That explains the 47.5 on our betting screen that we're both looking at right now. I understand it. I mean, Arizona has been a team that plays in games that sort of get up and down the field. And Carolina, look, aside from last week when they really struggled against Dallas, has been moving the ball much better. And it really started with that Kansas City game about a month ago when they just went up and down the field with the Chiefs. So I understand it. I haven't bet the game. Maybe I wind up on some over 47. There is that 46.5 in the market. So if you have the ability to bet that, go do that at minus 115. Yeah, I respect the move. I certainly don't think I'll find myself on this game. Carolina's been much better in the dog roll. It was wild because I did fall for the Carolina as a favorite thing. I'm like, oh, well, there's a reason they're favored. They should not have been favored, maybe, against Dallas.
Yeah.
It's wild. You put the minus next to Carolina, and they just turn into complete shells of themselves. You keep the plus price next to them, they found ways to keep things interesting. They had covered 5 in a row heading into that Dallas game, and I bought the stock at the wrong time. So I probably won't get involved. But again, sharp group bet over 46.5 and 47.